Alright, in this video I'm going to teach you some of the basics that you can use to improve your drum programming in Reason 4.0. We're going to go over the Redrum, we're going to go over sampling, not sampling, but using a sample in the NN19. Also we'll go over the NNXT, things you can do in the NNXT. If you can hear that dude outside that's right by my window with the lawnmower, you have to forgive me, but this is the only time that I had time to do this tutorial. So anyway, we'll continue. Using the Redrum, I've loaded up a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat. Now, first things first, off the top, listen to the sound. As you can see, these are quality samples. These samples are actually a part of a kit that I purchased, and I don't regret purchasing it. It was like the best kit I've ever purchased in my life. This kit, it basically, I can't even remember who the manufacturer was, but they basically sampled a lot of the commercial stuff that you hear out today, and that's where these kicks and snares and all the percussion, everything is coming from. So mainly the point that I'm trying to say is, if you want realistic drums, or if you plan on making good drums, or if you want to improve your drum programming, it starts with selecting good instruments up front. I'm going to compare this kick to a factory kick, just so that you can do a like a and B comparison. And there really isn't any comparison in my opinion. Let me find a drum here. Alright, here we go. Alright. And this one's actually not bad. And that's alright too. But that just sounds a little fuller to me, and that would be the preferred kick that I would rather use. But anyway, let's on to the tutorial. With Redrum, hopefully you're familiar with all the settings in Redrum. If not, we can just go over that briefly. You have your sends here. These knobs represent your send buttons, and what those are, if you want to add thump to your kicks, if you're wondering how people always have kicks and snares and it sounds like it's booming, like there are people stomping, or it sounds like the floor is about to cave in when the kick drops, then I mean it's as simple as compression. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a compressor to the mixer here at the top, and I'm going to add a little bit of reverb in this second slot here. I'll add some advanced reverb, and I add another compressor there just for the sake of this tutorial. Or better yet, I'm going to remove this reverb and add another compressor. Alright, so if you wanted to add a thump to your kick, I'm going to start a drum pattern here. Reduce the length. Alright, so I want to add some kick to my kick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this Redrum over, and instead of going into that, I'm going to do it directly from here. On channel 1, on this send effect, I'm going to increase this all the way to the maximum, which means that I should now be utilizing the compressor, because it's on this return here. So let's click play again. Actually, I'm going to solo the kick, and I'm going to click play. Okay, as you can see, we're utilizing the compressor now. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but you should be able to hear the difference with the compressor. Mainly, we'll go over compressor settings in another tutorial, but for now, I'm just going to play with this to get a better kick out of it. Alright, I'm going to bypass this. So you can hear the difference. So just adding compression added a lot more kick. And we're not even clipping. Yes, we are. Just act like we're not clipping. I'll turn this down a bit. There we go. And I'm going to turn the compressor off again so that we can compare the two. So there you have it. So those of you asking how to beef up your drums or your snares or whatever, that's a technique that you can use. It's as simple as compression. And like I said, we'll go over compression in a separate tutorial. But for now, that's just a quick tip that you can use to improve your drum programming. Something else is velocity. As you can see, right here we have hard, medium, and soft. When you're playing your drums, a real drum player doesn't play at the exact same tune every single time, so it's important to switch that up. And that's just common sense mainly. You can do the same for your hi-hats, changing the velocity on your hi-hats. You can also draw the velocity in, meaning that you can, once you've created your beat in this area here, you can click on this button that says switch to edit mode, get your pencil tool, and you can actually draw in or automate your velocity. Automating it gives you a much wider range than just these three options here: hard, medium, and soft. If you draw that velocity in, then you can get a more realistic feel for your drums. On the Redrum, we have the high quality interpolation button, and that button mainly it's supposed to improve the quality, the sound quality of your samples. So that may be something that you want to add on in your drum programming. Another important thing in drum programming would be just knowing the fundamentals of drumming themselves. For example, your time signature. A lot of people don't exactly know what the time signature is. In hip-hop, the time signature of 4/4 is commonly used, and in short, this mainly just means that there are 4 beats in the measure. You would count this. As a matter of fact, let me turn on the click here. Basically, this is what the time signature is. I'm going to count it out for you. Alright, let's mute that. So the time signature for this song would be 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's mainly it. So you just have 4 beats. 4 beats there. They repeat 4 times, and that's time signature in a nutshell. When the reason that this is important, there are certain things that happen when you're creating your drums. For example, sometimes at the end of each measure, or the end of every 4, 8, end of every 16 beats, you may have a fill. And what a fill is it could be like a snare roll, it could be a drum roll. For example, let's see what we have here. Let's see, that's a bass drum. Let me add a snare. I'm going to add a snare to this to give you an example of what we're talking about here. And I'll select. And this is a bad snare for the example, but I'll just use it anyway.